Steve Bernas joins us now. Steve, I'm getting rid of everybody. You're my new co-host.
That's great. I'm not a dill, am I?
Okay, now you're out as well. All right, so Steve, phishing scams. We're going to start with me. Phishing. I never talk about me, as you know, but we're going to start with me. Phishing scams. I set a Cumulus record for this $4 billion company in that I clicked on 6 different phishing scams, and apparently no one's ever been close. I'm quite proud, as you would imagine, and spent a lot of time this weekend going through court-ordered training.
2 hours.
Is this the corporate go-to, the phishing, when a company gets hacked?
It is. Unfortunately, we're seeing an increase in that, Steve. And what happens is once they get access to your information, they can get into your corporate systems and do some harm and damage. And as I've talked about before, I know a law firm who actually had to pay $1 million to get their files back once the breach occurred, and can't count how much money they lost because they didn't have email access for almost 2 weeks as well. So it's really increasing. According to Forbes, Illinois was ranked number 9 last year on phishing attempts and phishing successes. And it's just increasing beyond belief. And we're telling consumers to really don't click on any links. If you think it's coming from your mortgage company or your government or your site directly, because it's really, you can't tell like you used to in the past, Steve.
Yeah, and it disincentivizes you to open company email, but the downside of not opening company email doesn't equal the fact that you could end up like Lurie Children's, obviously, where they were offline for over a month.
Yeah, it can happen to that. It happened to the police station. Remember about 7 years ago in the south suburbs, they had to pay their ransomware too. So it's getting to a point that it's so critical to make sure you're not clicking on any emails that you're not expecting or not aware of, because it can do harm and damage to not only your computer but also your corporate computers.
So if a company pays ransom, what stops the people that are holding the ransom, the attackers? What's stopping them from doing it again? Nothing. Nothing. Know they're going to keep getting paid. But what's stopping me from? I'm not going to open any emails anymore.
We ask you not to open any emails that you're not expecting. You know what I mean? It's actually you got to be very careful on opening emails. And a lot of times the emails are always trick emails. They're not just simple ones. They're always tricking that they're a fellow employee, a boss, or something other than you think, hey, this has got to be true. And I clicked on one last year and I got caught too. Not as bad as Steve, but I thought it was something that a service that I constantly use, and I didn't even read it. I just glossed over it too quickly, and of course I got the big red light came on and says you have failed. So it happened to me, it happened to Steve. It can happen to anybody.
Well, I wouldn't compare you and I. You had 1, I had 6. And I told my son the story 2 days ago. I think he's still laughing at me. But it's a very serious thing, and you do have to be careful. And I am no longer allowed to use email of any kind. As a matter of fact, tablets will be chipped out, and messages will be run up a mountain to me. That's the only way I'm going to get information now.
That's the best way, probably, the old pen and paper.
So corporate hackers are protected against by IT departments in companies. General knowledge from the Better Business Bureau. Are companies keeping up?
They're not keeping up as they should be, and it seems like a lot of the smaller companies, the companies that don't have the budgets for the security, seems to be the ones to getting hit, and they're the ones not telling anybody about it. So that's why a lot of data breaches happen, a lot of identity theft, is because the small company doesn't want to tell anybody they've been hacked, and all of a sudden then you realize your identity has been stolen from them, and it happens quite often. Identity theft is still the fastest growing white-collar crime today for both businesses and consumers. It's not a matter of if, Steve, it's a matter of when you'll become a victim of identity theft. It happened to me. It happens to the best of us. Previous Attorney General Lisa Madigan had her information hacked as well. It's just amazing. They say like every 11 seconds a phishing site is created on the internet. Every 11 seconds. Is
it seeping over into text messaging?
It is, and that's where it seems to be going more. People are on their phones today. Any type of email or text, rather, saying you want a prize or you can get a free gift certificate or just click here for your UPS package didn't go through. That's the tip off to the ripoff, Steve.
What about sometimes I'll get an email that says this account of yours has been hacked, or it's a text or an email. I don't even believe that, but what if it has been hacked and that is a real email?
That's why I say, Jane, is to call the company itself directly, or use the phone number on the back of the card or the bank, whatever. And that's usually what consumers need to do, because sometimes you can't tell a legitimate email or a spam email or phishing email. They're so good at it; they just copy and paste. So if you think you got an email from XYZ company, call them up. Go to their website directly. Don't click on those links. It's too dangerous right now. And don't answer your phones unless it's from Steve or somebody on your contact list.
I like the idea that we're basically tunneling in at work so much that the only way you're going to be able to contact each other is something we've given up on, and that's face-to-face
Seeing
contact.
each other face-to-face, yeah.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Everything comes full circle, really.
But that's got to be impactful for video conferencing and Zooming and all of that at some point if it's not already.
You're right. And a simple phone call would save a lot of time and energy and efforts as well.
What a crazy idea that people would go to work in a place and have meetings with other humans face to face.
Pick up the phone and call.
It's insane. Just absolutely insane. So Steve Bernas, who's run the Better Business Bureau here in Chicago and in Northern Illinois forever, and knows more about this stuff than ever, recommends a radical cure for this. And that's it. You show up to work and you meet with your colleagues.
Yep.
Talk to them face to face and say hi.
Unbelievable. Steve, thank you for the education, and please feel free to mock me.
I do all the time, Steve.
No, I mean even more. Even more. Extra layer of mocking.
Just don't send them any emails.
I won't see them.
No.
So
you're banned from email.
Got my Cumulus fax machine they sent me yesterday in the scrolls of paper that curl up and you have to unroll them. That's the only way I can communicate now.
That's fine.
Yeah, it's not really tablets. It's
I like the
faxes.
tablet.
Going old school.
Yeah.
Why not?
So, yeah.
We should go backwards.
If you want me to fax you, let me know.